When comparing Cyberpunk 2077 to CD Projekt RED's earlier success, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, it's easy to see how the latter trumps the former's immersion. It's a shame, since the developer touted this to be a much deeper role-playing experience, and even that one last big exceptional looking title for previous gen hardware. But what if we compare it to Red Dead Redemption 2, the current benchmark in open world immersion, regardless of console generation? Well, obviously Red Dead Redemption 2 wins out, but it's still fun to see all the ways that it immerses the player and where Cyberpunk 2077 falls short. Let's take a look at 10 of them here.
Oh, poor thing. Come here.
Hey, mister. Don't look like you're doing that right.
You can do what you like. I'm not going to pay you any mind.
Shit.
NPC routines. The first and most obvious point is NPC routines. CD Projekt RED famously touted the presence of over 1,000 NPCs with their own unique daily routines, which turned out to be a complete farce. NPCs simply walk around, many doing absolutely nothing and perhaps blinking out of existence when you stop observing them. By comparison, Red Dead Redemption 2's NPCs have actual lives. If you spot an NPC working and then proceed to observe them throughout the day, they'll actually go somewhere else, like the local restaurant, to relax. Likewise, vendors and shopkeepers will sleep in the nighttime, prompting you to return in the morning to seek them out. Detailed interactions with NPCs. Remember how it felt to interact with Night City's denizens as a nomad? How about as a corpo or street kid? If you answered, the life paths are made up and the choices don't matter, you'd be correct. But in Red Dead Redemption 2, you could do more than just pass by people in towns. You could greet them and have short conversations to obtain more information. Conversely, they could be absolutely cold to your presence and say nothing. Even cooler is that Arthur can acknowledge that coldness with some awkward lines before moving on.
Hey, mister.
You might want to wash some of that blood off.
Nothing for you to concern yourself with.
Antagonizing NPCs.
Hey, you. Slow up now.
Must be joking.
Who let the simpleton out of the asylum?
One can also antagonize NPCs, shoving them around and causing them to flee in fear. Alternatively, they may be itching for a fight, which could lead to Arthur either taking them down or engaging in some good old-fashioned fisticuffs. If you stand in front of an NPC and eye them for too long, they may grow uncomfortable with your presence and leave, starting with a slow stroll that turns into a sprint if you keep staring. However, in Cyberpunk 2077, NPCs will cower in fear, holding up their hands while standing or huddled on the ground. Hilariously enough, throwing a flashbang in the middle of a pack of traffic can result in all of them exiting and cowering on the ground in sync. NPCs have one, maybe two throwaway lines on greeting them, and just carry on shuffling, regardless of V's presence. And of course, you can't rob them or verbally antagonize them. NPCs joining in fights. As noted before, provoking an NPC in Red Dead Redemption 2 can lead to a fight. However, unlike Cyberpunk 2077, the rest of the populace won't just cower on the floor or run away. They'll join in with full gusto, prompting you to battle them all. Even if you're threatening an NPC and they become frightened, another may just have enough and try to fight with Arthur. This is all before the local law enforcement even gets involved. Law enforcement. Let's say you assassinate someone in the middle of the Badlands, confident that no cop or NPC is watching you for miles and miles. How often has it been the Night City PD will spawn out of thin air, confident that you're the killer and immediately try to put you down? This can occur even in the densest of interiors where police end up spawning in walls. Don't even get us started on NCPD's almost non-existent patrolling of the city or the terrible bounty system. When committing crimes in Red Dead Redemption 2, an eyewitness first has to report it, so there's a bit of time to deal with them. You can threaten or outright kill them if needed. Covering one's face can prevent Arthur from being immediately identified if a crime is reported, but wearing the same clothing could also give him away. You can also be wanted dead or alive, with progressively tougher law enforcement joining the fray if the bounty is high enough. Entire towns may even go into temporary lockdown if enough crime is committed, with all the shops being closed and the risk of being shot if one strolls in.
It's time you were long gone. Now get!
Okay, I ain't looking to cause problems.
Eating food. Ordering food in Cyberpunk 2077 takes place entirely via the UI. Buy an item, navigate to your inventory, use it, and that's it. Sometimes vendors may not even have a food item, even though it's proudly displayed in their shop, because reasons. In Red Dead Redemption 2, Arthur can actually browse through menus, order food, sit down, and eat. Even in camp, when a gang member is making a meal, you can line up alongside others for your share, and there are specific times for doing so. As noted earlier, how much you eat will actually affect Arthur's weight, further adding to the immersion. Shops. Browsing shops are also handled a lot better in Red Dead Redemption 2. You can actually walk into a shop and pick up different items to examine them before purchasing. Approaching the shopkeeper allows for viewing specialty items via an actual book that Arthur pages through. If you decide to rob them, then the shopkeeper will react accordingly, opening up the cash register and getting out of your way. In Cyberpunk 2077, all transactions are done in menus. There's no physical interaction or even a way to try out items like clothes before purchasing. And of course, once again, you can't rob the vendors. Camp versus apartment. The camp in Red Dead Redemption 2 offers quite a bit of customization. You can upgrade different parts, unlocking aspects like fast travel and horse stations, have conversations with gang members, and even partake in minigames with them, depending on who's available, and convert any hunted animals into provisions. This isn't to say that you can't do anything with V's apartment. Completing select jobs will unlock different decorations and the window shutter can be pulled down. One can also watch TV or listen to the radio along with browsing the net. However, you can't upgrade it or get a bigger apartment, and any NPC interaction outside of story missions is almost non-existent. Appearance changes. Cyberpunk 2077 offers the ability to customize one's own character. However, that's really the only chance you get. V has a fixed appearance throughout the game with no option to change anything, much less get a new haircut. Red Dead Redemption 2, by comparison, offers a fixed protagonist in Arthur Morgan, but his appearance changes realistically over time. If you don't get regular trims and shaves, his hair and beard will start growing out. The amount of food eaten determines how much weight he puts on. You could even ignore baths for a good long while and accumulate dirt, with various people taking note of the smell. Since Red Dead Redemption 2 is in third person, you can actually admire the different clothes and outfits in the game. Random encounters. For all its crimes, Night City is actually a pretty chilled out place. You won't become engaged in random car chases with gangs, and the chance of being attacked on foot are also very low. We can't ignore fatal glitches after all. You may come across certain events that allow for battling hostile foes, but these will take place in the same exact location with the same exact enemies every time, like clockwork. There's nothing random about them. Now let's take a look at Red Dead Redemption 2.
I guess you forgot about the interest.
Hey! Quit this damn foolishness!
What you staring at? Move along!
Driscolls are pathetic.
Each gang/faction has their own unique random encounters, whether it's the O'Driscoll boys with their stagecoach robberies and ambushes, or the Night Folk with their traps. These take place in specific territories, so naturally you won't find the Lemoyne Raiders operating outside of Lemoyne. There are also a plethora of encounters which involve hunters, prospectors, duelists, wildlife attacks, races, fugitives, or unique characters. Not intervening in certain cases can result in people dying. Heck, you could arrest a fugitive, reap the reward, and then intervene in their execution later.
Law never seemed to find the bodies in this town. Damn. All right, let's get to it.
Don't make me go to the law over this.
And that wraps it up. If you like what we are doing, please consider subscribing to our channel, and don't forget to switch on the bell notification icon. That way you will never miss out on any of our videos.